like that.
I'm pretty excited to see the Renekton ban. They put a lot of high priority on this Renekton first pick, as some other LPL teams do. A global remove, like TT is saying, we don't want you to be anywhere across the map. The 3 champions with globals are gone.
Yeah, and the only thing left open that stands out in mind, I was going to say, would be that Kaisa. Xiaopeng still has not picked up the Udyr, as we mentioned, but feeling confident to bring it out for the first time for himself in the LPL today.
All right, well, it's bear versus what? What kind of animal are we going to get in the jungle on the other side? Because we haven't seen the spider. We've been seeing a lot of the... I guess Viking's not really an animal, is he? He's not banned away, and Olaf is a strong pick, Lyric.
No, and instead, LGD going to go straight for this Aphelios Thresh bottom lane. The thing I like about Aphelios into the likes of Udyr, right, as we've talked many times, Udyr is still a champion that does have to, like, run at you. Thresh, really great zoning support, not only with the Flay, but with the box as well. Really awkward to run into Aphelios, especially depending on the combination of his guns, maybe the Gravitum to lock you down, or the Crescendum and Severum, which is obviously just the highest DPS that you're able to put out. So I think it's a pretty legitimate first rotation for LGD, especially when our win condition for these teams was, hey, scale, play back, and let the enemy team mess up. There's nothing better to do that than when you have an Aphelios on your team.
Oh, yeah, and just one of the strongest bottom lane duos, and the fact that Thresh synergized with this AD carry so well. I want to move forward, because if I see that, I might scream, but we've got the cow instead, and that feels quite nice. We've got the animal kingdom growing, considering Udyr is, I should correct myself, not just one animal, but a couple. And there's Olaf in the end as well. So we have bottom lane duos and we have junglers, no solo laners. I expect these teams to go wild with the banning process.
Yeah, and LGD targeting out Twyla specifically. We all know Twyla's mostly known for his pocket picks. Though he hasn't played that many of the split, he has pulled out the Nico and he has pulled out the Renekton. So when it comes to Twyla, you still might see some crazy shenanigans. For the side of LGD, I still think you probably just blind pick mid. There are a lot of blind pickable mid laners still left open. The Syndra's there, the Zoe's there. Both of these champions do good at playing from the range that we talked about. You could even just go back towards that Azir, but they are the ones who elect to ban that out themselves. The only other one that jumps to mind, of course, is the Orianna if they want to continue to index into scaling. And Orianna is pretty decent against these kind of short to mid-range champions like Kaisa, but I expect to see last pick top coming out from the side of LGD.
Okay, last pick top for LGD. That means we see the mid laner in the first rotation. Something like the Zoe we've seen on Uniboy before. The Syndra banned away by TT, so this could just be like, hey, I'll play Zoe if you want to play something like the Orianna. Standard mid lane is left available, and Uniboy says, let me at him.
And you calling it 100% hysterics. Wouldn't be surprised right now for TT to go with what you said in that Orianna pickup. Obviously talks pretty well. Pretty much a neutral matchup, despite the fact that Zoe is the one who's able to get priority. The bigger question to me is where Chalitza goes in terms of top lane. His most plays are Renekton and Gnar. Both are banned out. You could just go back to that Ornn pickup, have a solid frontliner. Or maybe the other thing I would expect is maybe he brings out the Camille, because Camille is a very dynamic blind pick that, despite the fact that, right, you're a carry, she is still very safe in lane with her hook shot, wall shot. You at least have a way to aim for flanks and try to get right on top of that Aphelios in the Zoe. But yeah, I feel like TT have decent options in terms of blind pickable champions in their top lane.
See, Camille, you mentioned you're a goddamn genius, aren't you? There we go, locked in. A very strong champion in the LPL, the win rate's there, but let's just remember that this has been first ban-worthy for a lot of teams that pay respect to the top laners. The response, though, do you want to neutralize the lane? Do you want to challenge it?
I want Gragas. I think Gragas is a good answer. Okay. I'm glad they lock it in because, again, we've already set the precedent. LGD are looking to play from a range. They have Zoe. They have the Aphelios. They already have zone control coming out from the Thresh. Adding in Disengage and another frontliner is going to be very nice. Whether it's the Camille looking for the flank or the Udyr just running straight at you, that the body slam and the explosive cast will do wonders in these team fights. We do know he has a fine laning phase up against the Camille. We have seen both the grasp and the phase rush. Either is fine. And I like what the side of LGD have put together this time around.
Okay, I'm really curious about, how Gragas plays the fight. So I also know there's quite a bit of scaling on both these teams. TT, the way they play these fights, Lyric, the flanking angle there, am I correct in saying that the flanks and the full-on engage from people like Kaisa, Camille, and how Udyr approaches the fights as well. A lot of angles to play from if you're the side of LGD, TT as well.
I feel like TT is going to be very hard for them, actually, to where It's very hard to look for a flank, I think, onto the Cephalios if LGD play out their composition correctly. We have seen a lot of Gragas's and Thresh, I think, used aggressively in these types of compositions. Their abilities are used to find picks when they don't necessarily need to. You can just have Thresh stand pretty much directly right next to the Aphelios and give TT a very hard time to where it should be impossible for them to approach. Because approaching front to back will be incredibly hard. So for the side of TT, I feel like we're going to need to see them start getting something going early, but they don't actually have the lane pressures to be able to do that.
Yeah, so maybe bigger task set for Xiaopeng there. If Udyr gets off the ground, especially going into the Olaf, which a lot of Udyrs like, then we could see TT really roll with the Thunder and, get early advantages where necessarily they wouldn't have found it. We're going into a game 2 where we've reset, we've rewinded. Oh, and we're going into Cinematic Summoner's Rift. See how we got the pan scan going on as well? That means it's serious. That means it's Chinese New Year. Alistair! Oh my god! Okay, well, happy Chinese New Year.
I do want to say, it is pretty funny to see like that really nice cinematic go into us seeing Udyr's model, which is obviously pretty outdated, back into a very nice cinematic. Like the contrast was crisp, was clean.
Can you imagine if you're walking out in the shops, you just see a huge cow dressed in very symbolic clothing, hovering over you.
We're going to call him an ox.
Ah, yes, true. It is Year of the Ox coming up as well. I want everyone to know, I think I was born in Year of the Pig. I think I'm a bit of a pig. Hang on.
You were.
It's every 12 years, by the way, and that's kind of the fun thing. If anyone doesn't know, us going and, like living in a different culture, it's so much fun.
I do want to say, it is funny that I'm more confident in your zodiac sign than you are. Do I know you too well?
You do. It was, yes, I am. No, wait, no, I'm a boar. It's technically a boar, but I've just called myself a pig.
Come on, we're getting into semantics.
Just to make myself sound a little better, yes, I am.
Hey,
Year of the Boar.
Boars are very scary. Where I live, where I'm from, Arizona, you can see boars kind of roaming outside, and they're very intimidating animals.
True. Whenever I think of boars, I think of MapleStory being level 30 and farming up, getting 0.02% XP per boar. But I'm going to move forward because that's a super niche reference. You already talked about how this game's going to go and what TT do need to succeed, because as we get towards the team fights, it is very hard to approach the backline of LGD and get through without getting unscathed and end up winning the fight. But we do know the side lane pressure that comes through, the strength and CC that comes from a top lane duo in the Udyr, in the Camille. And that's exactly where Xiaopeng's heading up towards. Now onto his blue side camp with Chalitza pushing in that top wave.
The one nice thing about TT's comp is they should at least have a tankier front line than the likes of LGD. Both Udyr and Alistar, I think, should get tankier than the likes of Thresh and Gragas. We just know Alistar, especially for his ultimate, compared to anything that Colt or Chance do offer in terms of their kits, will be very hard to deal with for the side of LGD. And if they can get on an objective first, I actually think TT have a decent chance at pulling the fight, right? You're going to have Chalitza waiting off on the flank. You pull LGD into you, and that's an avenue to win. But if LGD do assert early game dominance, like we are seeing with these matchups in mid and bot lane, they get on Dragons first. They get to the Rift Herald with the bot lane swap. I think it'll be very awkward for TT to walk into LGD.
Okay, I like that because I think with comps like this that do very different things, then we need to kind of idolize what time of the game they can start taking advantage. Looking at Xiaopeng as well, after trading away Scuttle, he has the option to go for these Raptors that are spawning soon, or get an angle towards the top side. We know how quick Udyr is at farming. Remember, it's still 11.2, and that means the Phoenix helps him push through quickly. Wave up here is resetting slowly but surely, and Colt does not know he's here.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if they can go for this, though. The CD on the hook shot should still be probably another 5 to 6 seconds.
No mana.
Chalitza is pretty low himself as well.
This get used to get the mana. He has the Doran's Ring start. The Bear Slap goes in. Phoenix is out. And just like Dumbledore, Colt is waiting for this Phoenix to die. The dive goes overboard. And Xiaopeng knows he's dead. A 1-for-1 trade. Now Chalitza's out of it.
And it's exactly like I said, that was really awkward. Despite the fact that Colt did have no mana, you're still diving a Gragas when you don't exactly have a wave. Chalitza's abilities are on cooldown. Chalitza is half HP. Udyr isn't taking flash, so he's gonna run in. He's not gonna have an easy way to get out of turret range and drop the aggro. And it is a 1-for-1. But we're seeing in the bottom corner that a decent trade actually coming out for the side of LGD. This is a winning bot lane matchup. They were able to force out SamD's flash as well.
Almost a kill. The flash you mentioned already coming out. So net advantage for the bottom lane of LGD. And the fact that they got the 1-for-1 trade in the top side feels really nice across the map. LGD up by only about 100 gold, if that, at 5 minutes into the game. And Tier was picked up on the back here from Colt. He teleports back into lane as Xiaopeng and Teen grouping up.
I guess that is what would happen, but I was kind of excited that, you know, had they been able to spot out Colt moving, maybe we could have gotten a really cool gank off onto him and start getting Chalitza back into the game, but they want to keep it going. They actually are going to look for that gank.
Animals together strong. Xiaopeng and Teen, the cow and the bear running in. He's waiting for the body slam. He's bopped up, stands in front. Colt can't get out, against the wall, bullied up. And this is what happens when you stay too long where you're not wanted.
I also like decisions like this because, especially with your bottom lane already losing out with that flash and that trade in the bot side, it's pretty hard to find avenues to salvage that matchup, especially if LGD just opted into having Quay play around the bottom side. So saying, hey, we're going to give up some waves. We're going to give up some potential experience. We got off the faster recall anyway. We're going to send Team top and try to get Chalitza ahead. And again, just give up more on Kai'Sa, I think was definitely the smart way to go.
Yeah, because Camille in a side lane, already been talked about here in the LPL, teams that can play the side lane, that can play through strong split push. A 1-0-1 Camille does exactly that. A Xiaopeng's still here. He's decided to commit to camping and continuing to farm up whatever elements he can on the top side of the map. And you're right, Lyric, the game plan from TT a lot stronger this time in the early game, supporting the Camille, who already has a sheen advantage in this top lane matchup.
The thing is, it's only going to get harder, though. We did just see that Colt hit the level 6 mark, so has the explosive cask. So it's going to be much harder for TT to dive him under the turret, as we did see them try last time. And Quay is just getting further and further ahead now, having about a 3 to 4 camp advantage in terms of jungle matchup. He's a full level ahead. And LGD have a big wave. They can go for this.
Ragnarok there at the ready, willing to be used. The turret aggro hold by chance, but the flash forward from Teen was nice. They're still diving SamD. So far, it's a 1-for-1 trade as Teen's going to go down as well. LGD commit the teleport down, and it was not in vain. As Xiaopeng now, the response is there. Uniboy can't get the poke as well, and this is so dicey. LGD managed to lose one more.
Watching Quay's mouse movement was really interesting because he started to walk under turret, and as SamD started moving around, he would continuously back off and start pathing towards the opposite side. So I wonder how he was managing that one, because it feels like had he just gone forward that whole time, if you keep your eye on the Olaf. See, he walks forward, backs off, starts going under, backs off again.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and he definitely could have been able to burst off SamD had he just, you know, gone straight. And again, I'm not quite sure. We don't have the pro view of how his mouse mechanics are working. Does flash in the end, does get that kill, but it ends up giving enough time for the rest of TT to get here. He goes down, and it's a 2 for 2.
You give yourself kills on the person that matters. SamD now might even find one. Explosive cast, great, but Killer Instinct brings him back in there, blocking for the body slam. He will eventually get away with the barrel roll at the ready, but Colt is not having a great time this game, and SamD doesn't want to let him back too early.
Still, he's doing exactly what his job was. He knew what he was picking Gragas into. This is what makes Gragas such an irritating champion to deal with, is he is so hard to find kills on. Pretty much throughout the whole stage of the game, getting picks off onto him with the mobility, with the CC, with the displacement is quite hard. But still, TT get the damage off on him. They are going to be able to get what should be first turret, as well as the Rift Herald. I don't think they even need to use Rift Herald on this turret, so I'm kind of hoping Xiaopeng doesn't go for that one. They might even be able to push too. We see that LGD's push is so far behind.
Yeah, you don't have the Crescendum here. You have the Severum at the ready, but Crescendum is what makes that Aphelios push so quick. He's up 30 CS himself, getting turret plating at the ready, but you're right. First turret blood's going to go down. Xiaopeng hasn't committed the Rift Herald. And the trades coming back and forth are exactly what you set up in the comp, Lyric. Chalitza gets first turret blood on the player that TT wanted to accelerate forward. And he's going to have Trinity Force plus a bit more gold in his back pocket. But Kramer and Chance, the bottom lane that is going to get them to that late game point, will also have a lot of gold to work with towards that Mythic.
I'm not a big fan of that trade because when you think of these trades, you have to think that, okay, so by doing this, they are setting Colt behind, but they are giving Kramer the room to get ahead in his own matchup. They are sharing golden XP on Sam D plus other members, so they themselves are not exactly getting ahead. They're just opening up a pressure point on the map to play through. So sure, they now have this open side lane. It gives Camille more room and means Camille can also potentially start roaming around the map. But you just gave LGD's big carry a huge injection of gold and levels.
So now it becomes very difficult to deal with the Kraken Slayer Aphelios when we already talked a little bit about objectives and setup. The fact that this Aphelios is very far accelerated, we know what he's like in a full 5-on-5 or a skirmishing environment and how versatile he is, especially with Thresh, with Olaf or Gragas by his side. Definitely
true. Again, it's Kramer is the big win condition for the side of LGD, and when I look across the Rift, I don't know how potent... I don't believe in, I should say, how potent TT's tools are at being able to burst him out. He doesn't have summoners right now, but he's still safely fine farming that bot lane. Again, I feel like a lot of these fights are going to be dictated by who is able to get pressure mid and get on those objectives first. In most cases, I think it should be LGD, but TT move first, they have the Herald, and they're going to be able to get some plates from this mid lane turret.
Good clear from Colt. He'll get rid of the minion wave, but the turret still gets the charge and hands over some of the gold to Twyla, who has the CS lead himself. Kramer here finally going to get first turret, or rather second turret of the game, but first turret for LGD. Gold dead even 5 seconds before Dragon spawn.
Hysterics, look at the 80 carry items. Serrated Dirk and Pickaxe versus a full Kraken Slayer on Kramer.
Yeah, that's not good as Quay gets hit. Shockwave, Ragnarok just in time, and that's quite nice. Trouble Bubble lands as a response, but Chalit's already doing a lot of damage with this Trinity Force, but no kill is no kill, and TT moving back to try and exert some of the burst down on Quay.
That was actually massive in the mid lane. Twyla able to force out the Ragnarok. Typically, you see champions like Syndra and Zoe are pretty good into Olaf because they can get enough pick and poke down to where they can force that ultimate abuse. Orianna not typically thought of as one of those champions, but Quay just trying to hold waves with Uniboy after that Herald came down did put him in the position where he did have to take enough poke to have to blow that one. And TT buying themselves some space. Don't forget, as you mentioned, they do have scaling elements. They do have that side lane threat that will be menacing LGD this whole time. The question is, can TT use it? Because Hysterics, you were the one who cast TT last time when they had a massive split push threat, and instead they started running head first at the enemy 5v5 under inhibitor turrets.
I hope Chalit's has learned his lesson. I hope TT have as well. They kept grouping and they kept ARAMing with a Camille that was giga-fed, so I don't want to see this happen again. The Trinity Force already picked up as Teen gets pretty low. Quay going in aggressively. Xiaopeng will secure the smite in the end for the trade, but Quay does have that level lead, so you can see why exerting that pressure here in the jungle matchup. Chance trying to do the same onto Sam D. Can he land the death sentence? He's a bit short, a bit shy, and Quay did not follow up anyway.
Still, we saw with that invade the ability for LGD to control terrain. Again, it's something we always mention when Zoe's on the Rift. That
Chalita! Killer Instinct. They want to go into Kramer. Severum doesn't matter when you get bursted down. 3-0-2 as Colt actually comes in as well, but the Gragas body slams into a wall and Teen waiting for the pulverize down. Colt can't body slam out, and you've just given a kill over to Sam D. LGD flew too close to the sun.
That was great to see. I'm actually surprised Kramer got completely 100-0'd by the likes of Chalitza. Sure, Sam D did put down some damage as well, but you know, I guess it doesn't matter if you have all the zone control in the world. If one combo from Chalitza can get this Aphelios off the map, he's going to take more items. Quay.
Xiaopeng waiting for the bear stance, gets into Tiger and wants to burst down. I think actually Xiaopeng could be in a lot of trouble here with Quay turning it around. It is Olaf, and Undertow turns it right back. Now onto Teen at half health. You've got to remember, Gourd Drink is not really balanced. Shockwave there, Chalitza almost manages to lock down. Quay flashes to escape as Uniboy has Everfrost. The chase there, Paddlestar at the ready. Chalitza gets knocked down, the stun dodge nicely, but it's grabbing him with the Moonlight Vigil. Death sentence follows through. You're not going anywhere, boy. Chalitza will give over his shutdown, unfortunately, to the game of chance.
And seeing Xiaopeng full HP, so confident, him and Alistar chasing down Quay. Quay somehow able to turn around, do all of Xiaopeng's health bar, take him down. Really like that hook from Chance in the end. Like you said, Chalitza not able to get away. And this game going punch for punch. A lot more action than we did see in the first game, but still, it does seem like TT are the ones currently with more map control. Let's get a view of this, because Teen putting down some vision and Quay just doing a nice job kiting out. We saw the Gore Drinker proc right there, and Xiaopeng just not having enough damage. We need to remember he does go the Turbo Chem Tank, not really a high damage build. This is one of the reasons why we have to see Udyrs get far ahead early, because he's relying on that base damage from the Phoenix stance. And then LGD gonna follow up. Uniboy is having that, I think it's Everfrost active. They do keep going. You highlighted the Graviton ultimate, able to find the root. And yep, Chance takes the ride, finds the Flay, and they get the kill.
Now, it is unfortunate that he got the kill, but at the very least means he gets towards the Mythic, and that'll be a supportive item for the team as Hextech Ultimatum's used. Colt actually caught out here. Drop Bubble will not help his teammate as he flashes away. The Gragas tanking up with the body slam, hits through the margins. Now going in with the Ragnarok. This Olaf wants to 1v5. Shockwave pulls in 3, at least does the damage to his boxes down. Killer Instinct there as well. We got a full 5-on-5. Drop Bubble hits the mark on Sam D, and TT getting a bit low. This series really delivering in terms of value.
Yeah, and you can see LGD not exactly on the same page with their jungler once again. Different jungler, surprisingly enough. Quay goes in, the other members are backing off. They feel forced to go for it as well. It sets up for Twilight to find that massive...
Oh my god! Oh, Uniboy, that's the burst, and hey, that's a Rift Herald. LGD now get that.
And that's the example of why whichever team is, you know, on the terrain that both teams are fighting over first should be able to come out ahead. Of course, in that instance, TT was backing off, but... LGD just having so much range, so many ways to play around Fog of War and so on and so forth. Nice pick onto Sam D. It's going to get them not only Rift Herald, but they should even have pressure onto this mid turret. And it's just in time because Dragon is coming up in 35 seconds.
And it is an Ocean Soul. We're heading towards a very good soul of this game, especially for an Olaf, especially for the team that LGD have. Lyric, I'm willing to say whatever team gets Ocean Soul feels very comfortable with the comps they've got.
I feel like it's more important for the likes of TT than LGD because for LGD, they're not going to be taking much poke, right? It's going to be all about all-ins. We are going to get a quick replay. He just paddle stars over the wall, gets it. It was cool. It was exciting, XD. But yeah, point is, right, TT's comp is about bursting out LGD. So they're not actually going to get much, like LGD, it's not going to matter too much whether they get that Ocean Soul or not. But TT will be taking poke from LGD. So... For LGD, it's more of a takeaway, and for TT, their comp would really like that against what LGD are playing with.
Start stacking them now. Dragon number 3 on the board. LGD have priority in the river, and TT deciding whether to go in. Teen at the flank. There's warding here, though. They know he's here. Dragon's going to go down quickly. Everfrost doesn't connect on the back enders into the pit. It will be secured by Quay, and they just ignore him. Quay's walking through. The Olaf has just been ignored completely. He's run into 5, and thank God Gore Drinker's not that OP. He'll sacrifice his life while Chalita waiting to go in. Chance flays to dissuade, and TT will get the pick for the loss of Dragon.
The funny thing is we actually see how LGD's comp was supposed to work in that scenario. You see Xiaopeng running in, he's getting chunked low from, you know, the guns from Kramer, the damage from Uniboy. Sadly, though, as you said, Quay is on the opposite side, just, you know, just kind of chilling, arms crossed, waiting for anything to happen.
Big cleanse. Colt clearing the wave. This should be given over. Xiaopeng trying to exert pressure to help push Sam D up to the turret, but he won't be able to, and the minions ain't that winning this time around, so... Chalita will be the only benefactor, now hitting down bottom lane. Trinity Force almost Tiamat into a Ravenous Hydra. He's taking down turrets pretty quickly, and we'll try and give some more gold over to TT.
And the thing I like about the Tiamat coming out right is it's shown that Chalita's Camille's been a lot more about the push and move style, not necessarily just about taking down those side lane turrets as of yet. Gives you that immediate wave clear to start grouping with the team and looking for those engagements. As we've seen, he does have enough damage at this current state in time to be able to burst out Kramer if he is able to coordinate a way of getting onto him with the likes of Sam D. But as he gets some more items, I feel like we are going to transition more into that pure side lane portion of Camille that we do come to expect. Quay right now hovering on mid lane. They do have that Herald. I think they are looking for an opportunity to drop it. But instead, I guess with the fact that they don't know where TT is on the map right now, they don't know how close they are to mid lane after resets, just opting away from that decision.
It's it's a good time to be in the mid game for a bit of a lull, I'd say, though, because we get a moment to breathe and kind of take stock of the situation. We've got the Ravenous now complete. I want to look across the items on the other side and see what compares. The win conditions are at 2 items apiece, with Kramer in the Renan's Hurricane territory, actually moving towards the 3rd item. Still hasn't upgraded his boots, and I think we should also note that Uniboy still doesn't have his Mythic 19 minutes in, as he's got a Blasting Wand and the Hextech Alternator.
Yeah, Colt doesn't either, so it feels like at this point in time, this actually would be where TT need to capitalize on a point where they are stronger than LGD.
But do you think you care if you're Quay? I mean, he's just running forward. There's the death sentence onto the bear. Xiaopeng runs away as Teen in for the flanking position, hits 2 with a headbutt pulverized, the burst down, Gravitum in the Moonlight Vigil, Chance absorbing the damage. They try to get on the backline, but Chaliza can't hit Kramer, and it's Calibrum time, baby. First death is the hardcore carry, and Uniboy's picking up 1,000,001 summoners. Chilling Smite next in hand, and that's already a win for LGD. They can start threatening the top side as Baron spawns, start taking away some of these jungle camps.
I still think TT are just getting a bit too cheeky. We talked about, hey, you know, they potentially are stronger right now in terms of items, but I still don't like that you're sending Camille just straight front to back at what LGD are going for.
True.
They're trying to add a bit of disruption with the Alistar, but we saw Colt just kind of bops him away, and then you are just in a straight front to back team fight for the side of LGD. So it feels like Chalitza also needs to be approaching at an angle to start finding those opportunities, and then it's about the ball delivery system that we have in there as well. The point is, TT's comp does take more finesse if they are going to opt into these fights, right? They need to come at different angles. They need to pull the members of LGD apart. They can't just let LGD throw their abilities forward and be happy.
And use the peel off onto Kramer, and he gets to keep free hitting away. Look at how annoying this turret is for TT to get. I know you talk about dead turrets quite a lot, but the fact that it's still there, LGD can hover around and keep holding mid-side vision, because at the moment their vision line just along the line of the jungle, as you can see.
The thing is, we call those turrets a false sense of security. They aren't really there, but in this case, this one actually is. For the fact that anytime LGD sends the 3-man core mid, TT actually don't have a reliable way to break it. They aren't very high range, so even if they push in a wave, Kramer or Uniboy should just be able to clear that one instantly. So like you said, that turret is actually a very good structure to prevent TT from being able to push in their vision line, and TT shouldn't be able to get that. Oh, actually.
Full stop? Okay.
I guess you just wait for LGD to walk away and ignore your minion wave.
Finally getting it. It's been there like that.
I feel
for about
stupid
5
now. I
minutes.
feel stupid now.
No. Don't feel stupid. Beautiful human being, all right? Never call yourself stupid. We get the turret down, and your point's still valid.
Now there's gonna be those Pepe laughs and Casters XD all over chat.
Ah, don't worry, bro. That'll be there anyway. Happens to the best / worst of us. As I think Chalitza feeling very aggressive on top of this Gragas right now. Side lane threat, that's what he's built for. As Twyla going to be absorbing the trouble bubble. Cleanse is available, but Quay coming through. Going into Ragnarok. Angry Viking actually just seizes the day. Box laid down on the TP, and Chalitza made an oopsie. Kramer gets the kill, and TT were asking for it as Dragon's going to be given over as well.
You were highlighting it earlier, but Quay never goes against a chance of going in. He's truly feeling those Viking instincts. Twyla bursts it out immediately. Chalitza tries to salvage the situation, can't go in. LGD are able to pick it up. And sir, it's looking like both of us were wrong.
Yeah, I didn't believe in LGD the one time. This team is 0-5, 0-6, 0-5, excuse me, I was right the first time. LGD, before this, they've only won one singular game. One individual game out of a series. LGD facing down the barrel of their recharge in picking up their first series win. TT have nothing to do around this Baron. It's been given over. LGD secure the purple worm, and TT head in their hands wondering how this happened.
The power of Zoe, right? Again, you get the Sleepy Trouble Bubble over the wall. You're not in harm's way at all. It sets up for Quay to run in. Pops Ragnarok Flash. Gore Drinker at the end for all that damage.
Hits a
and Chalitza was channeling his TP. Felt like he needed to be here to prevent the pick from happening. But guess what? You just end up giving LGD over a second kill. Now we're going to start seeing this push come out from LGD. I do expect it to be a kind of two-lane push at first, right? We're going to see their 4-man core in top and Grogs in mid. As we get closer to inhibitor turrets, though, we are going to transition into LGD just sending 5 men into a singular lane. I think preventing TD from a chance of finding an engage on you, and again, looking and posturing for that team fight yourselves.
Like this, right? Kramer and Chance helped by 2 other members on the team. LGD 4 topside, and you can see that it's Colt just holding the mid lane wave, not giving any advantage. Chalitza trying to find his own as a split pushing Camille, but this is going to happen really fast with the Baron buff, and Chalitza's going to have to make a decision.
And we're going to have to see if LGD want to look for this dive, because we have both Udyr and Camille on the map. So LGD need to run forward, and Quay
Again,
is.
Twyla, he has cleansed the second time around, but this time didn't really make a difference. Twyla's going to go down for his second death, and LGD, now the push is there, and I think TT need to pay the respect and get back.
They definitely do. Chalitza trying to make the best of it on the opposite side of the map, but is going to go for the reset now. This will definitely be a free inhibitor for the side of LGD. And Colt's buying time.
Chasing him. He's chasing him down. He's not going to let Chalitza back. He's the person with all the kills. If the next kill comes through, I think LGD just win the game. Waiting for the minion wave to do most of the work on the Nexus turrets to Sam D and T. Defending well. But LGD don't care. They've already broken the inhibitor. They can go to another lane. Colt now having a great time with Chalitza, but he's kept him for long enough, and Chalitza's just getting bullied around.
Colt was actually laughing in that instance. It was nice to see Colt with a smile on his face, because the LGD members, let's be honest, we don't get to see the smiles too often.
And hey, he was bullied all game long. I mean, he got camped so many times in that top lane, and he actually gets to play the game now.
And at the end of the day, right, this is a competition. These are all competitors. They're all trying their hardest and putting their heart and soul on the line in these games. So, you know what? Let's go with, like, the U.S. education system, participation awards. Everyone's a winner.
Okay.
That mentality.
They have that in Australia as well. I remember, I wasn't good at running, and I came like second last, and they gave me the participation award. But the problem is, it makes you feel worse. You're just like, you didn't have to give me the award for saying I'm crap. Oh,
it hurts. It does
and
hurt.
your parents have to be proud. You know, let's be honest. You know,
but that hurts the most, actually. That's the one that hurts the most. When you would show your parents, and they would give you like that fake empty smile of like, good job. You're just like, oh my god.
I remember, and in soccer as well. Sorry, football. It's not called soccer. I've been hypnotized by the Australian system. In football, when you don't do too well this season, you get the most improved award. You're like, well, I know I didn't improve. If anything, I got worse, and they're just pitying you. So it's kind of sad. Yeah, it's been a rough life.
I feel like we could be giving some people some PTSD with this stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like we're both giving ourselves some PTSD.
I mean, we're just gearing them up for putting hope in LGD for this split.
We're on Soul Point. It's going to be Soul in 50 seconds.
But the question is, will the game just end? Because Udyr's been trouble bubble while Colt's absorbing pressure forward. Soul Point you mentioned in 40 seconds, and Colt trying to absorb Chalitza once more. Some good damage coming down here off the bases of Gragas, but Colt doesn't want to go any further with Ravenous Hunter as Hydra, Quay going forward. Trouble bubble, will it connect? Teen on an awkward angle. Quay doesn't care.
No, and Quay does have the Ragnarok though. Doesn't even need it.
Yeah. PTSD aside, I think now moving forward, this Ocean Soul feels pretty good. And TT need to steal, otherwise it's just going to slowly roll into a LGD 2-0 by the looks of it with the comps you set up.
And we see Quay actually going back to his Grom to heal up and get the lifesteal down to be able to just take the straight. They're going to start immediately. TT aren't even going to look to even attempt a steal on this one. I guess they wouldn't have a way. There's no blasting plant. Xiaopeng doesn't have flash, so he would realistically have no way of getting in the pit anyway. It seems like TT are kind of resigning themselves to their fate. But still, they're getting gold on the map. They're trying to hit better item breakpoints, and they're going to look for, the game-breaking fight that, of course, LGD are going to put in front of them. And I'd probably say the next minute, right? You're probably not even going to wait for the Baron. You're just going to charge down mid, try to sync up with that top super minion wave, and look for the fight to end the game.
That's how it should happen, but let's not forget that this is LGD and TT we're talking about, and game one should have been a TT win. So even with Ocean Soul, I'm not going to hedge my bets. I'm going to look at how LGD close this game, and if it's cleaner than what we've seen out of the two teams in the past. As inner turret will go down, and this is just breaking down structures. LGD, that group up as 5-man you're talking about, is happening now.
And, I mean, TT, at least, they do have some decent wave clear, right? They do Chalitza, though.
He's gone in. The Death Sentence will connect. Chance not following through. Uniboy waiting with a paddle star. Bubble instead aimed down the middle, but it doesn't ride the wall, so it ends a bit early. That's all she wrote.
I'm surprised that LGD didn't follow in that hook. I mean, I guess he does have Guardian Angel, so that could be one of the big persuaders coming in. They would be all-inning into a choke point against an Orianna Alistar, which is never fun. So.
Okay, to Baron we go. Xiaopeng just maneuvering around, and somebody please hit that ward. Thank you so much. Now, TT clearing out mid, and they're going to contest this one, or at least walk into the fog of war. There's a chance. Oh, he hits Chalitza this time. This time he follows through. The flame burnt down early. Box is there. He's going to get hit. Explosive Casket. That's the one-man Moonlight Vigil that sets up for the Gravitum. Lines it down. Chalitza's going to come out of GA as Uniboy is getting harassed by an angry bear. Someone let him out of the zoo, and Chalitza dealing with a Ragnarok Olaf the same. We go back in time a couple of bit into that fight, and LGD still went out a 2 for 2. Surprisingly enough, but they got the Aphelios, and they can still go to Baron.
That's the thing, is we saw Uniboy and Kramer indexing into a different direction than Uniboy and Colt.
No.
Oh.
Sammy D.
Doesn't hit the bubble.
He's going to survive.
Oh,
Paddle Star. Okay. It's over.
You think it's over, but we've grabbed him, man. We've grabbed him.
Xiaopeng, I don't know what he wanted to achieve with that, but maybe he thinks it's over.
You know, he just wanted to assert his dominance as the more alpha jungler on the Rift, because, you know, Quay's been going in nonstop.
He sacrifices his life so that the game can maybe get a bit more competitive for them, even though it feels pretty one-sided with the Ocean Soul. As Xiaopeng dies, the inhibitor goes down, and LGD are just moving slowly towards this win. And take the red buff. What else have we got up? Baron's still there. Pings are going down, and I think LGD want to try and take this one quickly.
Yeah, they're definitely going to go for it, and Chalitza is on the bottom side of the map, so he's at least going to have to burn his TP for this one. So at least if they go for this play, even if they don't get the Baron, they won't have to worry about Chalitza going for those split pushes after this play. But once again, TT just going to make the gold trade. They say, hey, whatever, we can't fight them right now. We can't take the Baron. Let's keep getting more items onto our carries. Let's keep playing out through the side lane threat that we have. Though it does feel like Colt has kind of been so big and so far ahead at this point that he can pretty much just ignore Chalitza's damage as long as he isn't, you know, completely overextended. So, yeah, I still don't feel like TT have an avenue back into this game yet, but I can at least understand their thought process of buying time, because I know me and you talked about this last year on broadcast, that when you have a comp like this that still does scale into the late game, it's not about going for the big Hail Marys, the big coin flips. It's about giving what you can, getting as much gold onto your carries as you can, and then taking the fight when you're forced to.
Yeah, taking those individual advantages and getting those big carries to some of those core items that can, you know, accelerate you and make you a bigger threat. We've got Steric's Gauge coming up, and that's going to affect how Chalitza, how long rather, he can survive in these fights. Also giving time for the GA to come back up that we saw lost in the previous fight. And even though Colt's able to withstand some of the pressure, he's 2.5 items, almost 3, versus just about 4. So that's something they're hoping for, but they could hope for that for a while, because the game could end soon with LGD pushing in. Cleanse is there. Twyla's still not going to use it, of course, not going to get poked down, but Teen just gets harassed by a 300-year-old girl, and LGD still pushing in. Twyla just surviving. 3 inhibitors will be down, and with the Baron buff, this push gets deadly.
They actually need to move back up top, because the top one has respawn if they do want to go for that. But hey, they have the waves. Maybe they just keep landing down the poke.
Moonlight Vigil was kind of bad from Kramer. Chalitza goes in front to back. This is how TT are trying to play. Not too many angles in the bases. There's the cleanse this time from Twyla as he gets hit with the trouble bubble. Chalitza in once again. Colt absorbing the damage. The rest of LGD are dealing with Teen. They might have to help their top laner, but Twyla almost dies to the paddle star. Teen getting low as one more undertow to seal the deal. Chalitza running away after Hextech Ultimatum, and Xiaopeng runs in maybe to die. The trouble bubble hits him as well, and Uniboy zoning them away. A very slow-winded defeat as Sam D moves up to the wave. The body slam again, initiated with Teen going the headbutt pulverize route. Xiaopeng bursted down. He goes forward into his death, and that's going to be all she wrote. LGD with their first series win of the LPL 2021 Spring, and what a win it was.
And I really liked it, actually, because even coming out of draft, I liked what LGD did. I liked the comp they picked into this Udyr comp. It was very low range, right? We talked about it. You can play out with your zoning threats. It's all about the Zoe and the Aphelios. They were even able to get 2 winning lane matchups in mid and bot, so it didn't even allow Udyr to, you know, find his advantage through the jungle, like invading through the bot side. He'd always have to worry about both Zoe and like Thresh Aphelios on the opposite side. And then it was, I'd say, a pretty simple plan for LGD to execute. And simplicity is the best thing ever when you are one of these younger and newer rosters in the LPL.
First time taking a bow on the stage. Must feel good for the likes of Kramer. Colt and Chance as well. Remember, they played a little bit on the roster last year, but it was only for a brief period. And this is a roster that, you know, has a lot of potential, but we have to see some cleaner games coming out. Let's be honest. Game 1 was theirs to lose, and Game 2 does feel like a better chance at an LGD that could rise and cause some chaos in the standings coming up.
Definitely, and like we highlighted, guys, after this weekend,